Hi, Swen. I am so excited to talk to you about your new film, Survive the Game. It is so great to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
I have talked to a couple of your castmates and your director, and you all seem like such a fun bunch. So I'm really excited that I'm getting to talk to all of you and hear what it was like on set for each of you. But I want to start off and ask how this project came across your lap and kind of what made you decide to do it.
Well, hopefully I don't let you down since everyone else has been so nice. I hope I can continue the trend. But the movie came across to me from some producers that I've worked with in the past. And they said, hey, Swen, there's this movie and there's this role that we think you'd be great for. I was like, okay, sure. Send it my way and I'll read it. I read it and I immediately fell in love with the character of Cal because I feel like there's some very big similarities between him and myself. I mean, he goes rushing into this drug deal without really thinking twice about it. And I feel like I've done that once or twice in my life and then dealt with the consequences. Like I'm sure some other people have it as well. And that's sort of what drew me to this project. And then when I met James, director, that's when I knew I had to do the movie because I mean, his vision and his idea for the movie was so on point that I was like, this is going to be huge.
I mean, it is for sure. And that was a question I was going to have later on, but I'm going to ask you now then. So Chad Michael Murray's character kind of had the option to either, stay and be a part of something that was, potentially life-threatening, or he could leave. And I was curious, what would you do if you were given that choice?
If I was in Chad's shoe?
Yep.
Well, it's tough because if you just think about it from a normal point of view, you'd probably run.
Yes.
But the fact that he's lost everything in his life and he has, his wife and kid were his only thing and that was it.
Yeah.
When you go through something traumatic like that, you never know. And he's a vet, so he knows combat, he knows how to fight. Would I have stayed? Who knows? If you're stuck in a situation like that, people work in very different ways, but I can totally understand why he reacts the way he does because he's got nothing left, so he might as well fight it out till the end.
There's nothing more unpredictable than somebody that has nothing to lose, for sure.
Well said.
Yeah. And another thing, we could just slap on action-packed and call it a day for this film, but I think our audience deserves a little more than that. So I want to hear your best elevator pitch of what this movie is about.
It is 100-mile-an-hour train that you can't stop, that's got action, but also some in-depth characters that you care about and that you want to follow until the end. Hell, even the bad guys you follow and you feel for them and you understand them. And James did such a good job with that, making each bad guy, so it's not just Goon 1 and Goon 2, but each one of the guys has a very distinct personality, and so do the good guys. So it is an action movie from start to finish, but it's actually got some depth and some layers and an interesting story behind it as well.
Yeah, those characters are what draw you in for sure. Even the bad guys, you love to hate them.
So, yeah, I mean, they all such distinct personalities between, Kate and Zach's character. And then you have Simon and the rest of them. And then you have the women, that are thrown in there too, that are just badass chicks through and through.
For sure. There was another person that worked with you that a lot of people were very excited that joined this project, Bruce Willis, but you actually have worked with him on several films, right?
Yeah, I've worked with him in the past, but this is sort of like the first time that we've worked as close as we did. And, you would think I've worked with him before. I've seen him before. Oh, easy breezy, you'll do your thing and whatnot. Yeah. But he's still the biggest action star in the world. And it's still a daunting task every time you see him and meet him. It's like, and, for his age, he's still rocking and rolling from the minute he gets there to the minute he leaves. And the guy is strong as a freaking ox. I don't know what he does, but he's just a powerhouse through and through. And it was it was really fun to be able to work with him this time in, you know, such an intimate way where we're sitting in the car and we have history. So it was truly a blast working with him again. And you never know what you're going to get with Bruce because he knows his characters inside and out. And sometimes he'll just throw out, you know, some improv lines, and you got to make sure you're listening and paying attention and rolling with the punches.
Well, that's good. I mean, sometimes you worry that somebody won't live up to the hype, but clearly he does. So that's always
He does all the time, and it's always so nice to see him. And you know, he does a lot of projects, and hats off to him that he's still going strong.
Yes, he is still going strong for sure. Another, like I mentioned before, character that you work alongside with is Chad Michael Murray, and you guys are kind of the dynamic duo in this film.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, in real life, did y'all have that same sort of romance going on?
You know, he, from the minute we met, we kind of connected. He's really a nice guy and down to earth and really personable, really outgoing, you know, not closed off in any way. So yeah, we did build a friendship, went out to dinner with him and his wife and kids. So, you know, we did get to know each other on a personal level and really talk about other things outside of acting. And I think that kind of came through in the characters on screen as well. So he was great to work with, and I hope I get to work with him again in the future.
That's awesome. I hope so too. Y'all were a great duo on the screen.
Yeah, we had fun. You know, he didn't really back down, and neither did I. And that's what you kind of want from a co-star, is to give the same amount of energy that you're giving and care as much as you care. Yeah,
y'all were totally equal levels, giving it all you got. It was great. I definitely want to see you guys back together.
We'll see. Maybe there'll be a survive the game too, or survive the game again.
Would you shoot it in Puerto Rico again? I mean,
who knows? We'll see. I mean, the location was beautiful. We were at that farmhouse on top of the hill was just extraordinary.
I was like, this was not shot in the Hollywood Hills. This is somewhere much, much nicer. I mean, what was it like? Have you shot in Puerto Rico before?
Yeah, I've done 3-4 movies in Puerto Rico, and I love going there every single time. I mean, you go there any time of the year and you have beautiful weather, so that's a bonus. The people are really nice, the food's good, and the locations are always so interesting because you have the city, you have the forest, you have everything you possibly need.
So true. I immediately was like, this is beautiful scenery, even though that's not really what the movie was about. I was like, look at those rolling hills of greenery. It was gorgeous.
It makes it for a more interesting movie when you have something interesting in the background too.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So like we've said, this is definitely an action film. I mean, the creativity of the kills and just like the different scenes is insane. So I'm sure they had you do a whole bunch of crazy stuff on set. I'm curious, what was the craziest thing they had you do?
For me, I mean, it's like, where do you even start and where do you end? I mean, it's just nonstop. But I think the most interesting one was where Zach is like shouldering me out the window, and I kind of lean out the window like that, and I catch myself. That was, you know, you're tied in and you're safe and whatnot, but you're still 12 feet off the ground going out a window. So everything in your body's going, no. And so that was probably one of the more interesting ones, but it was still fun. I
mean, so you did a lot of your own stunts then?
I did everything that I could do. I did. Yeah. Of course, there were certain things that, you know, just weren't going to happen that I wish I could have done, because I want to do as much as I can because I get joy out of it. But everything that I could do, I did. So
it was very impressive. Even, I mean, like, what was the hardest scene to shoot? Would you say like you guys had car scenes? It was just, I mean, it was everything.
I think the hardest two were either the opening scene where we're going into the farmhouse and that opening fight in the kitchen and the hallway and going up the stairs, that, or the fight in the barn, because there's just, I think there was like 5 or 6 people fighting each other at the same time. So, you know, when it comes down to technicalities, those two were pretty challenging.
I mean, the choreography that y'all have to memorize, that's impressive on its own. So it was. We had
a good stunt person. We had a good director. So all those variables add up to safety and making it look good. And we had a good camera department too, and DP. So all those things make for, you know, a better movie.
Yeah, but also give yourself credit there too. I mean, come on, Swen. You memorized that choreo. Give yourself
Yes,
credit
yes, I
there.
did. But you know, it takes a village to make a movie. And if I would have memorized those lines and had nobody to film it or direct it, it wouldn't do me any good either.
I love the humbleness. I love it. Well, I'm really excited that this movie is coming out. I'm curious, is there anything coming up other than Survive the Game that we should be looking out for you?
Yeah, I have a movie called American Boogie Woman that's
Okay.
starring Peyton List that comes out in October.
Oh, awesome.
And it's based on Eileen Wuornos, the serial killer. It's sort of like a prequel to Monster with Charlize Theron. So I
Whoa.
play a young, cocky college kid that thinks the world owes him something, and it doesn't really work out too well for him in the end.
Ah, those are the best. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that one. But
Thank you.
I hope everyone sees you. You're incredible as Cal in Survive the Game. It comes out October 8th, and I'm so glad I got to talk to you, Swen. You are just as incredible as the rest of the cast. I mean,
Yes,
you guys are just, I wish I would have been on set. Y'all are so fun. So
we
thank
had
you.
a blast. So thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure, and hopefully we'll see each other down the road.